Hello everyone, this is Super Comic Girl. I am back with another video. So we're doing a review of essentially season 1, episode 5 of Miss Marvel, and you gotta pardon me, I got something in my eye. And everything. Sorry about that. So, I did this video before, and I totally forgot to put spoiler alert at the beginning of the video, so here it is. Spoiler alert, if you have not watched the 5th episode of Season 1, I'm saying Season 1 because that's generally, and it is Season 1 of Miss Marvel. Please do not watch this video until you see the episode. So, this is one of the great things I love about having Disney Plus, is I can watch all these really great or bad shows and movies, so I love it. I am going to be doing a total review of Moon Knight, which I was not able to do because I didn't have this channel. So, yeah, so Season 1, Episode 5 of Miss Marvel, called Time and Time Again, is basically a story of how Kamala's great-grandparents met, the time in which they met, which was the time when India was under British control. Now, there's a lot of videos out there about how bad the British treated the people of India. India at one time had been an extremely wealthy country, and when the British came in, they totally trashed their economy and turned them into one of the poorest, which is why today, you know, a lot of people can't imagine India being a wealthy state, but at one time they were an extremely wealthy country. And, yeah, you can blame the British for the fact is that everybody's dirt poor, it seems. So, Kamala's great-grandfather was a rose grower, and when he met his wife and married her, she actually made a living off of selling milk, because you basically she sold it to people that needed it, and everything. So their first child was a girl, which was Kamala's grandmother, the only child they had together. And it kind of shows, like, basically how bad her companions were. They were literally, the leader was literally willing to kill her in order to get to the bangle, thinking that it would be their gateway home. So, we go and we see basically that, that the British were burning down people's homes, and they were basically being a general jackasses, because they just could not get it why anyone would want to leave the British Empire, because they had, they still have a very good memory of, like, when we rebelled against them and everything. And oh, by the way, hope everybody had a wonderful 4th. Just had to stick that in. So yeah, so they basically decided that, you guys are doing this to us, we're just going to burn your homes down and everything. And I was reading about the independence that India had, which divided India, which was a very large territory, into India and Pakistan. So Pakistan really hasn't been around for a super long time in legality. And then of course you see, like, this newsreel of, like, the British, or like the reporters are acting like this is a great thing, India's independent and peace and all that wonderful jazz, and that ends up not being the case. It was one of the greatest refugee crisis of the 20th century, after World War II. World War II was bad. The refugee crisis after World War II was bad because you had all these former inmates they had to get essentially fattened up from looking like a walking skeleton, And of course, they were literally refugees going back home, find that they did not have a home anymore that was owned by people. But it's I think they did a really good job to showing this. I did a lot of tears. It was very emotional. It kind of really helps me to understand a lot more about this particular time in history, which I do believe minus the other stuff that it's extremely historically accurate. What about those stuff like the Bengal and Kamala and all that type of stuff? But literally, it really showed like the pain and the suffering that these people went through. They're going to a new place they've never been to before, and they have no idea what is going on. And Pakistan, of course, is a very, very different country. And I'm not talking about religion. So anyways, Kamala comes back to the present, and after she has ensured the essence of the timeline does in fact happen the way it's supposed to. She ensures that her grandmother gets back with her father, and they go on the train and they go to Pakistan. She gets back to the present, and sure enough, the veil between the world of humans and inhumans and mutants and all that type of stuff is basically the gateway between that world and the world of the Celestials, or Jinn, is opening up. And sure enough, they all think they're going home. No, they don't. They end up being disintegrated. But before the mother actually dies, she transfers her powers to her son, which it's amazing how fast that goes. And of course, her skin and muscles and veins and organs evaporate, and you see her bones, and then of course, her bones also evaporate as well. So what ends up happening is the gateway closes. She sacrificed herself to close the gateway, or we think the gateway is closed, and we basically, basically no more veil. But I have a funny feeling that we are not done with the whole veil thing, though we may be done with it. But we don't actually know, because we don't know what next week's episode is going to be. What we do know is that the drones that we saw in Far From Home is back. One particular one is back, and it decides to take out Bruno's job security. It blows up where he works, which is so bad for anyone. Like, yes, what was the reason that you lost your job? Oh, I feel bad for you. Yeah. So it was a really great episode. We don't know if we're done with the celestial thing. We don't know. I am really hoping that next week's episode we will see Captain Marvel. Despite people not liking Larson, I really want to see her in the last episode of Miss Marvel, as a way of kind of like handing that title over to Kamala, because that title is vacant. And what I mean by that is, when Carol Danvers went from Miss Marvel to Captain Marvel, that title became vacant. Somebody has to fill it, and we all know that Kamala Khan's the one that's going to do it. Also, the if we're not done with the whole celestial thing, I really think that the gateways, that Veil's going to reappear, and it's going to cause more problems, and probably going to need Captain Marvel's help, because Kamala Khan is still very much new to being a superhero. Um, she doesn't have the discipline, or she doesn't have the experience to actually fight this. And this veil, it disintegrated these two Celestials like it was nothing. These people did not have any way of protecting themselves from the energy. So if the veils reappear, then we're definitely going to need Captain Marvel, because she has the experience of this. I'm really looking forward to seeing her in her final costume, the one that we all know. There was actually a video. She's in front of I think it's a green screen, or it might be a blue screen, with a little bitty things, those little crosses that are used by the digital effects artists that make sure that we believe what we're seeing is real. So we see her in that, and she has so I'm really looking forward to finally seeing her as Miss Marvel. I have a really good feeling that we are going to see that, because they would not have shown that promo video if she wasn't going to be in that costume. Now, speaking of the whole thing with the Celestials being disintegrated, Kamala's mother, so basically she discovers that there is a program on the phone that you can find out where your kids are at, which is basically spyware for parents. And she's like, you just told me about this now? And so they are able to use the software to locate where Kamala's phone's at, and sure enough, that is how her mother finds out that she's got powers. Which her grandmother's like, yeah, she's real happy. But then of course there's that little emotional tinge where she's given the photo. So overall, it was a really great episode. I feel bad for Bruno. His job security went up in smoke. For people who do not know, later on today I am going to be going over to Pop's Comics and looking at comics. I want to get the issue that has Kamala being fused with a symbiote. I have the digital version of it, and I really want the physical, so I'm definitely going to go over and see if they've got that. I got to get some things for my two comics. I am going to see what comics that they've got for this week, and if it's anything that I like, I will be doing a video today. I will probably start uploading more videos. I do have a thing comics that I got last week that I probably will upload sometime this week, and then I will also upload this week's comics that I picked up, and that will be a weekly thing. Another thing I want to say, I did rent the video Morbius. I will be doing a review of that video once I'm done with it. That means that all my videos that I want longer than 15 minutes, I'm going to actually enable that to happen. Another thing, I also have the movie Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man, the one with the Spider-Man that makes his own webbing. I'll be doing that video once I finish watching the movie. And I also do have Spider-Man No Way Home, and I will be doing a review of that video as well. So I have 3 video reviews I will be doing either this week or sometime later on, but I will get that done. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video when I talk about the Venomized. I do intend to get the comics and read them and do a complete history of the Venomized comics, which is why I gotta do videos longer than 15 minutes. Alright, so I will see you guys around. I do have a lot more videos I pre-recorded that I will upload or due time. Yeah. So until next time, may you be happy, healthy, and read on. Bye.